Hey, good evening, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another edition of I Could Be Wrong. I'm Brad. As always, I have Justin with me, and we have a potentially new member to the cast. Part-time, maybe full-time. We'll find out. Our good buddy Jason, who has been on some podcasts in the past, who is joining us this week as well. He is our resident Raiders fan. Boo, Raiders. Good to see you, Jay. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Hopefully you guys are having a good week so far. We're halfway through it, on our way to another wonderful week of football. Week 5 is in the books.
Yep.
Some surprises, I'm sure, from last week. Some news over the last couple of days as well, that may be a little surprising to some people. So I'll open it up to you guys. Let's start with Justin. What are some of your week 5 reactions?
Well, we talked about it on Saturday, but I got to talk about it some more because how about those 49ers? We are literally the most injury plagued team of the last decade. Never mind this year, literally of the last decade. But okay, let's go with just this year. Everybody I can think of that is known by name on our team has been injured, missed time. And here we are sitting at the top of the NFC West, beat the
Yep.
Rams on two, not one, two fourth down defensive stops. One was a turnover to get it to overtime, and then in overtime, forcing that stop. So listen, I that was one takeaway.
Okay.
Colts, the Colts are still showing they're good. I mean, I know they beat the
Yeah.
Raiders in good fashion. I have to point that out there to Jason. I'm
Yeah,
sure
that was a
sure
rough
he
one for
appreciates
Jason to
that one.
watch, I'm
But
sure.
but 40-6, man,
Yeah.
it definitely doesn't help when your best player on offense is missing, Brock Bowers. So, you know, we'll give them that. But they could have showed a little more heart, I felt like. Um Cowboys, they keep finding ways to win games randomly. Bad teams though.
Yeah.
They put up points against bad teams. Jerry Jones
Yeah.
flipping people off.
Hey,
What the
when you
heck?
when you got that kind of money, you can do whatever you want to
I'm just actually sensing a
do.
lot of parity. I know, right? I'm
Yeah.
sensing a lot of parity in the NFL. Good teams that, teams that are supposed to be good aren't, playing well. And teams that some people thought weren't going to be good are actually playing
Yeah.
really well, a la Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So
Jacksonville was
that,
definitely playing
I,
playing
I
pretty
might have
well.
stole the whole, I might have stole the whole segment, but I'll leave you
No,
guys with that.
no, I got some other ones. But I'll let Jay go first. I definitely let's do this. I like your takeaways. I definitely love the 49ers takeaway for sure. Very happy with where they are at 4-1, considering all of the injuries that they've had. I didn't want to dig in and twist on Jason like you did, but the Colts do look very good. That what I took away from that game, and then we'll just open it up to Jason because he's the Raiders fan here, and then other than the Raiders, what other takeaways does Jason have? But what I took away from that game was surprisingly uncharacteristically of a Pete Carroll team, like you said, they didn't really play with a lot of heart, in my opinion, like you normally see from a Pete Carroll team. That's the one thing you know about Pete Carroll. He's going to have his guys energized and playing hard. And it looked like at some point they just said, you know what, we're done with this. We're good. But that's what I took away from that game. Jason, I'll open it up to you, sir. What did you take away from your Raiders game and just overall from week 5?
We suck again. We suck again. You know? It's unfortunate, but we suck again. I watching that game was horrific. And to see Pete Carroll not even just take a chance and say, you know what, Kenny, get in there and throw the ball around. Take Gino out the equation for a little while. I think the reason why you don't see a team with the Pete Carroll led team's heart that you're used to seeing is because he's losing the locker room because he's standing by Geno Smith. He's standing behind him. He wants him. He wants him as quarterback. And unfortunately, even Max Crosby, our leader, is not too happy with Geno, and pretty much said that he was going to sit on the bench if Gino continues to start. It's unfortunate, but the reality of it is Gino comes in late for meetings, from what I understand. He's just doesn't have it all in there, and he goofs around a lot.
Wow.
And but yet, he's just not focused, I guess you can say. And Max expects that everybody to put in
Yeah.
as much effort as he does.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I
Okay.
think Pete Carroll's in the locker room.
Well, I could definitely. I will say if that's true, and Geno Smith is showing up late, and Pete Carroll's not putting his foot down, he's definitely losing the locker room. And I can also see, where guys are like, yeah, you brought this guy in. He brought him with you from Seattle, right? And Geno, I mean, we can call it what it is. Geno has definitely not had the start to the year that they expected at all. What has he got?
No,
9
9 interceptions, 10 interceptions?
interceptions,
So,
both in the
yeah,
NFL.
yeah. So I think at some point, like you said, they gotta at least make a change to see if they can spark the offense somehow. So, but yeah, if what you've read and heard is true, then that makes it even worse that Pete Carroll's not doing anything and making a change. So
We see we
oh,
cut Shane Pratt. We cut him as the middle linebacker, starting middle linebacker. That's a sign there. He didn't travel with the team. That's a sign there. He's losing the locker room. You got senior guys that are escaping the team.
I'll be honest too, man. The Raiders got a lot of talent on offense, and to be held
do.
back by that quarterback position, if I was them, I might almost be like, who just traded for Flacco? Cincy, right? They got all these weapons on offense, and so if I'm the Raiders, I'm like, see, because I don't honestly, I think Geno's better than Pickett, to be honest with you. like, I, it's probably a toss up. I don't think you get better either way, but maybe you go get who I thought since he would go get in Jameis or Russell Wilson. The Raiders got a decent defense, especially any defense that got Max Crosby is going to be decent, right? And they have the offensive weapons, with Bowers, Genty. Um, I love Trey Tucker, who's a baller as a receiver, honestly, and he's shown flashes. Even in fantasy, man, he's tearing it up top 10 right now. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But that really like it would, as a fan, like I could only imagine how much it would irk you to be held back by that quarterback position,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've
So
been there. We've
yeah,
been there
we've
as 49ers
definitely
fans,
been
so
there.
we know. Yeah.
I want to
And
a little bit on Kenny Pickett though. What sample size do we really have of him? When have we ever seen him play with weapons?
I mean, I guess that's fair.
I mean,
One
you give
time.
him a shot.
That was for the Eagles. That was for the Eagles. He came in and he played with weapons and he did a hell of a job.
I mean, I would say maybe you give him a shot, but it's hard, because you don't have the tape.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
say
hard to
it's
tell.
hard just be like hang your hat on him, because if you don't make the trade and you start him and he's just as bad, then it's like, well,
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm saying we should definitely make a trade for sure. But we should already have Kenny out there now.
oh,
While we're
Yeah.
negotiating a
yeah, yeah.
trade.
And there's still a few weeks to
you
the trade
know.
deadline for sure.
I mean, at this point, you can't possibly go out there and throw the ball to the other team any more than Gino is. So
This is
why not?
true.
Why not try?
Might as well
Uh,
try it.
yeah. Any other takeaways from any of the other games? Week 5, Jay?
To be honest, I've been telling folks for 3 weeks now that the just mentioned it, that the Jaguars are, a silent team, but they're deadly. They are creeping up on the NFL. They're shocking. They're a good team, and Trevor Lawrence is having a turnaround year. So it's
Oh,
nice to
yep.
see them balling. It's nice to see a shitty team, a 4-13 team, can turn it around. So gives me some
Gives you
hope.
hope.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like
I love
every
it.
year, there's a team like that, right? And Jacksonville right now, there's two teams so far this year that seem like that, Indianapolis and Jacksonville. But yeah, Jacksonville really has made a big turnaround. Obviously, they beat the 49ers in what was it, week 3, 4, whatever it was. They beat the 49ers. So we watched firsthand. Their defense is really good. I'm going to touch on them here in just a little more. But I agree with you. I think Jacksonville kind of stole the show Monday night on a national spotlight. No other games going on. The way they were able to overcome Mahomes doing what Mahomes always does, going down the field, scoring a last minute touchdown or whatever it was to take the lead. And then they said, all right, well, we're going to out Mahomes. And That was one of the craziest plays that we've ever seen, where a guy falls down and then he fell down again. If you noticed, he really tripped twice before he got up
Yeah.
and ran in for the
Yep.
touchdown,
He sure did.
which was crazy. We were at the concert. Julia and I were watching it on, so I was watching it on my phone. And when he fell, I was like, "Oh no, he fell down!" And then like everybody else, like, "Oh, he got back up!" Oh, and there was like four people in our row watching it all at the same time on their phones, and we were all had the same reaction. It was crazy. I saw this meme though. It said like within 15 minutes he went from picking his nose to doing something else to doing something else to falling over to scoring a touchdown, which is crazy. So, all right.
Hilarious.
So I'll give you what my takeaways were. You guys kind of touched on them. My takeaways are that, and I posted it on our Facebook page. The number 0. There are 0 undefeated teams left in the NFL after 5 weeks, which is very early for the NFL season. I think it's the second earliest in NFL history. Um, there's only one team. The Jets have 0 wins, which is a takeaway for me because I think we all expected the Jets to be more competitive with Aaron Glenn as the head coach,
For
Justin
sure.
Fields as a new quarterback, and they just have not been competitive at all, really. They also are the first team in NFL history to have 0 turnovers through the first 5 games of a season. So that's the 2 zeros for them. And then our lovely, beloved 49ers. They had 2 zeros for them as well. We still have 0 rushing touchdowns,
Mm.
and we still have 0 defensive interceptions through 5 weeks of the season.
Rough.
Somehow, we are still 4-1. Uh, I think it has something to do with Christian McCaffrey being number 6 in receiving in the NFL at the running back position. Uh, but if you take away his yak yards, I think he only has like 81, which is crazy. So
That's
the number
wild.
0 was my takeaway for week 5.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Nice fact finding.
I know. I'm good at that sometimes, right?
I love it.
All right, so let's talk about the absolute meltdown that happened in Glendale, Arizona, right
What?
right down the road from where we all live this Sunday, in which the Arizona Cardinals found a way to lose a game that they literally had in the bag. They were literally 1 inch away from locking the game up. And then all hell broke loose in the desert and they blew the game. So just initial reactions. What were your guys' thoughts as that was unfolding in front of us? I know you probably were watching other games too, but what were you thinking as that was going on?
Go
Yeah.
ahead, Jay.
Oh, I was shook, to be honest with you. I was It was hilarious to me though. I couldn't help but laugh as that ball escaped all over the field. You know,
Yeah.
uh, but my real takeaway from that is what how the coach handled the situation. You know
Yeah.
that's I don't know if everybody has their own opinion on that, but I'm pretty sure that you shouldn't put your hands on your players
Yeah.
uh, during the time. But as far as the play goes, it was quite amusing. Let's put it that way. Uh, and of course, I'm just glad it wasn't my Raiders because knowing our luck, that'd be the type of play that would happen to us. But the poor Cardinals fans, they got to be feeling it, but at least they have more than one win.
Yeah.
Man, listen, we don't talk about this meltdown, but these guys have been melting down for 3 straight weeks. Two
Three.
walk-off field goals.
Three.
So
Three in
three,
a
there was a
row.
walk-off field goal this game too, actually.
3 in a row.
So
Last second
got
as the
three in a
clock
row,
expired.
and then in this game, you got a freaking fumble that gets kicked into the end zone, or an interception that gets fumbled that gets kicked into the end zone. You got your running back dropping this, and I'm trying to figure out why on earth is the coach yelling at anybody, because he's the one coaching his team that lost 3 walk-off games. So this dude lost his
Yeah.
mind. That's how I feel about it. And
Yeah.
so I think this meltdown goes way beyond this week. And Cardinals fans, I mean, Cardinals are losing fans daily. It's not like they're the Cowboys.
No.
Cowboys are America's team. Their fans are half retarded, so they'll stick with them. The Cardinals fans, they're gonna be like, hell nah.
Yeah, I definitely think that the Cardinals are not going to recover from that loss for sure.
Nah,
I agree with Jason. The coach's reaction was definitely not the way he should have reacted. Obviously, none of us can speak for him, whether that's something he does all the time or if it's just a one-time thing. Only his players can tell us that. I think the biggest thing, and it was on a lot of the shows that have the ex-players on there. The biggest thing is they don't mind if you cuss them out. They don't mind if you do things like that because they can do that back. And that's just the way it goes. But when you put your hands on a player, they don't have the ability to do that back to you because if they do, they would kill you, right? And then the other thing I think one of them pointed out was I forgot who it was, but was he really sorry that he did that, or was he sorry that a fan caught it on camera and posted it online for everybody to see that he did that? So that's the other thing. I think, like you said, the Cardinals fans, they need to buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy rest of the season. And
bro.
I think that at this point, the writing's on the wall pretty much unless they go on a deep playoff run, which is not likely. Kyler Murray, this is his last season in Arizona,
He's
and
done.
they're going to be moving on and probably breaking everything down to the studs and starting all over again. So
Kyler Murray will be a backup somewhere next year.
would not be surprised to see that. So uh
Probably a Raider.
oh gosh. You know what? That would be your luck,
They're
Jason. Here's what
crazy.
I'll also say though. Here's what I'll also say. I would rather my team lose 40-6 on the road and just get their ass whooped than
For
lose the way
real,
the Cardinals did.
bro. They
Like, hey,
that it,
you lose 40-6, you're gonna be like, well, shit, at least we can get better. Like, we can go up.
I
You
couldn't even imagine
Cardinals,
if I'm watching the Niners lose in that fashion. If I'm a
uh,
fan and I'm watching that and it's the Niners losing that game, I'm like,
uh,
oh, dude, I'm losing my
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Hey, but fact check this, if you'd like. Over the last, at least over the long as I've been alive, I'd say that the Raiders have the most fourth quarter losses in any team in NFL history.
it's very possible.
I've watched so many games end with walk-off field goals in my life, and so many games end with a touchdown that, from the other team, or so many games end by us throwing a pick, and, when we're driving down in the red zone and, at the end of the game to win it, and we throw the interception, that I know exactly what the Cardinals fans are going through, right now. And it's gotta hurt. It really does gotta hurt. And you're right. I'd rather lose tremendously bad than have my heart broken on a game that I felt like we are gonna win 3 times in a row.
Bro. I feel that.
Yeah. I couldn't find it here in quick enough fashion, but I'll take your word for it. Uh, I do recall you guys losing a lot of fourth quarter leads. So, yeah, but hey, you know what? Living here in Arizona, I will say it is nice to see the Cardinals fans every year whenever it happens, because there's always one game every year where they melt down. And it's always nice to see the Cardinals fans after that, because before that, they're always chirping, talking all their shit. And then after that happens, they were awfully quiet this week so far. None of them have really said anything because they don't want to talk about football right now, which is always nice. So, all right. So let's move on to our next. We're going to talk about my top five after week five. I think week five is a good sample size. We can start talking about power rankings, possibly, if you want to call it that. I think first few 4 weeks or so, not so much because you're really kind of still figuring teams out. So I posted this on our Facebook page and Instagram and YouTube as well. But I'm going to give you guys my top five, and then I want your reactions. Where did I get it right? Who would you replace? Who would you move up? Who would you move down? And we'll go from there. So we're going to start we're going to go in ascending order. So that means we're going to start at number five and work our way up to number one. Okay. For those of you that are verbally challenged that are watching. So at number five, I have the team you guys were talking about earlier that we were all kind of singing their praises. Surprisingly, the Jacksonville Jaguars at
Oh,
number five. based off of their strength of victories as far as beating the 49ers, beating the Chiefs on Monday night in sound fashion, the way they came back down the field. And the other thing is their defense is playing elite. They are leading the league in turnovers right now in takeaways. They have 14 takeaways through 5 games. So doing a phenomenal job there. They have the number 4 rusher in the NFL and Travis Etienne as well. So that's my number 5 team. Number 4, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, top of the NFC South. They have 4 last second or last minute wins this season. I personally think they have right now the front runner for MVP in Baker Mayfield because of what he's been able to do with his receivers coming in and out and the connection he's made with his young rookie, Amika Egbuka, not Big Buku or whatever Gronkowski called him this weekend. Okay. All right. At number 3, I have another surprise team probably for everyone. I have the Indianapolis Colts. Based off the fact that they right now are playing very efficient football, really on all sides of the ball, all facets, all phases, offense, defense, special teams. They're only allowing 17.8 points a game. You got number 4 passing offense in the league, and they have the number 1 rusher in the league. And Daniel Jones seems to have found the fountain of competence because he's only had 1 game where he's had really any mistakes and looked like the old Daniel Jones so far this season. So I have Indy at number 3. At number 2, I have the team that I would have at number 1, but they lost Sunday night, and that is the Buffalo Bills. Before Sunday night, they, in my opinion, were playing the best football of anyone, and then they kind of let the wheels fall off Sunday night against New England. I know it was a division team, but they should have handled New England, I think, pretty easily. But again, they have Josh Allen, they have James Cook, who is playing phenomenal right now, and they're averaging over 30 points a game as well. So I have them at number 2. And at number 1, it is the team that I completely whiffed on my bold prediction on, and I said they would finish with a losing record and miss the playoffs, and that is the Detroit Lions. Detroit is obviously 4-1. They won 4 straight after losing week 1 to Green Bay. They're averaging 35 points a game and really rolling on offense. And look right now to be the best team in football, but we still have a long way to go. So again, that is my top 5. I would love to hear you guys' reactions. Who did I get right? Who did I get wrong? Where would you change? What would you change?
I could start here. Like I said, there's a lot of parity in the NFL, so it actually is a lot tougher. I do believe though that the Eagles still should be a top 5 team.
Okay.
All right. Where to put them?
So,
Maybe replace Tampa is where I'd go right now.
okay.
I don't know. Like I say, it's hard though.
Yeah, I get it. Philly
I
beat
believe
Tampa.
I do, huh?
I can't argue that Philly beat Tampa. So I mean, I can't sit here and make a straw like absolutely you're absolutely crazy. At the same time, though, one play could have changed that entire game, but it didn't. So,
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, I agree.
I'm just
I
with
could
the
see
head to
that.
head, right?
Okay,
Um, I think Buffalo's still the best team. I think they're number 1.
okay,
Um, I like Detroit. Don't get me wrong, but I'd actually place the Colts even ahead of Detroit right now. Colts are playing that good. I think their defense is
okay,
better
okay,
for all intents and purposes. Their offense is not better. The Lions' offense is better, but when the playoffs come, defense matters more.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
okay,
so
all
I,
right,
it's tough for me. I do want to move my Niners up in there, but I can't because they lost to Jacksonville. And I
true,
like Jacksonville as a top 5 team. You know,
okay,
their defense. I actually might even move Jacksonville ahead of Philly. Put Philly at number 5, right? Move
okay,
Jacksonville up a notch, and
okay,
then
and then you
go
put
with
Buffalo
Detroit at
1.
3. Go
Okay,
with Detroit at 3, then Indy at 2, and Buffalo at 1.
all right, all right. So we got 4 teams the same, and you just change the order a little bit after that.
Yeah.
All right, all right. I like it. I think you're wrong, but I like it. All right, Jay. What do you think?
I believe, we're looking at. I think the first two you got were spot on. I think the Lions and then the Bills. And then I would put Indy at number three. I'd put Philly at number four, and then I'd put the Jaguars at number five.
All
And then I
right,
would have Bears. They'd fall just out of the top five.
all right. So you're with Justin. All right, so you're both wrong. Okay.
Somewhat with them.
Nah, I can't argue that. Like I said, Philly beat Tampa Bay. I think other than that, probably that game right there against Tampa Bay, Philly has not looked very good at all. They've come away with some wins off the strength of their defense making some plays for them. I mean, obviously, it still counts as a win no matter how you win the game. So I can't argue that. For me, when I look at those two teams, I think if they line up and play 10 times, or if they play the 7 game series like they do in basketball, I think Tampa Bay wins the series, in my
I'd
opinion.
like to say that. I'd like to say that, but
I
at the
know,
end of
I
the
know.
no, at the end of the day, the Eagles. That's another thing about them is that they've found a way to win
They
with
have.
how they've been playing. They keep finding a way to win. So I'd
They have.
imagine that they scrape and claw and fight their way to a win. 4 out of the 7 games if they were playing a series.
I disagree. I think again, I don't. I personally, and again, we will never know because we only
Yeah,
have this one game that they played. I think personally, if Baker Mayfield is given an opportunity to make a different decision on his interception in the end zone, every time from now on, he makes a different decision, and that changes the entire outcome of the game, in my opinion.
yeah,
That
absolutely.
would have tied it up. They were going back and forth. We'll never know. Philly got the pick because Baker did make a bad decision. They won. So again, I couldn't argue with you, but I would say, and we'll find out maybe in the playoffs if they play again, which hopefully they do, because that was a great game, to be honest with you, just as a football fan. I personally I trust Tampa Bay right now a little more than I do Philly. I don't think Philly's going to be able to rely on their defense to make the plays that they make, their special teams to make those plays throughout the whole season. It just doesn't last. You got
They
to be
do.
solid on offense and defense.
They are going to have to click at some point.
Yeah.
So I feel that we're a
But we're
quarter
basing it
through
off
the
of
season.
5 games. So I get
Yeah.
it. Can't argue too much with that. So okay. Whatever. Speaking of Philly, let's let's talk about this game coming up tomorrow. The Philadelphia Eagles going against the New York Giants. This game lost a lot of its luster when Malik Neighbors went down, obviously with his injury ending his season. But Philly comes in as a 7.5 point favorite, which surprisingly, and we'll probably talk about this more on Saturday, bro. This is one of 5 games that have a spread of 7.5 or more this week. So a lot of big spreads in the NFL this week. Vegas anticipates maybe some blowout. So we'll talk about that maybe a little more this weekend. But anyways, Philly's favored by a little over a touchdown. They obviously are 4-1, as we just mentioned. Giants, on the other hand, are the opposite. They are 1-4. And after looking phenomenal in his first start, Jackson Dart came back down to earth, and the rest of the Giants came back down to earth last week. Although Cam Scatterbo did have one of the best pancake blocks that you will ever see by a running back, but he also had a fumble and some plays that didn't go his way as well. So I'll open it up to let's go with Jason first. What do you anticipate? What are you looking for in this game as these two division rivals get together on a Thursday night?
Well, what I'm looking forward to seeing is they actually run the ball with Saquon. You know, they did he have 6 rushes last game?
Yeah,
So
that was it.
I'm looking forward to see the run game on point. But I definitely going to see. I think the Eagles are going to, they're going to cover that spread. They're going to win by 7.5, 8 points, 9 points. To be honest, I would say the game's probably going to end up being, you know, a high scoring game, but 34, 20, 24, something like that, along lines of that, and they win by 10.
Okay.
But I do anticipate Scatterbo to have a good game. They haven't been the greatest at stopping the run. As of recently, they have a good run defense, but they haven't been the greatest at stopping the run. And Cam is just a different animal. But I just anticipate seeing a really good game. It's a divisional game. So it should be. We should actually have a good Thursday night game this
Hopefully
this
it's
week.
close. Hopefully it's like last Thursday's game.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are you
Well,
looking for, Justin?
I was gonna say that the Eagles are gonna blow the hell out of the Giants, but when you said, what'd you say? There was 4 games with a 7.5 point spread.
There are there are 5 games this week that
5.
have a spread of 7.5 or more.
All
Look
right.
at that
Well,
little
see,
guy.
this
Go
is this is
Steve.
what I think. This is one of those weeks where the NFL says, Vegas, you don't know shit. You don't know stuff. and
Possible.
and we get some really close games that people otherwise were expecting to be blowouts. And so, yeah, I'll
Okay.
take the Eagles though, because I think Jason's going to get exactly what he wants. They're just going. It's another homecoming, right? You know, so he's going to go. He's going to
Yeah.
go back to New York. He's going to put it on them. It's not like they're going to be playing from behind. I think the Eagles will be playing from ahead for most of the game, but the Giants will put some points
Well,
up, and keep up with them. But we'll see.
I like that. And normally, when you're ahead in a game, especially late in a game, you run the ball.
That's what I'm saying. He gonna run the ball.
But, however, I could be wrong, but the Eagles were up by 14 points in the fourth quarter last week, and they didn't run the ball, and they found a way to lose the game to Denver. So I agree with you. I think that's how they're going to start the game. We'll see if they stick with it is the thing.
Yeah,
I think what we've seen over the last couple of years with Philly is whatever noise is being said outside of the building about which player's not getting the ball, that's who they try to force feed the next week. They let the outside noise dictate a lot of what they do on offense, even though they try to say they don't listen to the outside noise. It was clear last week they were trying to feed the ball to AJ Brown. It
for
was
sure.
obvious, right? So this week, all week, it's been Saquon only got 6 carries. How did Saquon only get 6 carries? I guarantee you he's gonna have 6 carries on their first drive probably this week. I would not be surprised if he does. If they don't just come out and just turn around and hand it off 3, 4 times in a row to start the game. Um, so I've been harping on this all season. I'm gonna keep bringing it up. They got to get him going because right now he still has 0 runs of 20 yards or more, which is crazy when you consider the year he had last year. He does have one big play receiving, but as far as rushing the ball, he has 0. He's got 3 touchdowns, but 0 20-yard plays. And the other thing for them is on offense, along with Saquon, the reason they need to get Saquon going is because that's going to open their passing game up. Right now, they don't have anybody on their team averaging over 60 yards a game receiving.
It's awful.
Devontae Smith is their highest receiver. I think he's got 272 yards through 5 games. That's terrible, right? For the receivers they have, it like you can't have that. That's just if in my opinion, if I was a fan, that's inexcusable. Um,
Pretty bad.
Giants, on the other hand, you don't know what you're going to get, right? You got a rookie quarterback. I love Scatterboo. He's got a screw loose. And he's that guy. Like he gets the energy going. He plays hard. I love watching him.
He
I,
might
I
already have CTE.
Yeah.
Fucking.
He
That's
may
fucking.
very well.
He's a
Uh,
fucking wrecking ball, bro.
he is, dude. That block that he put on the lineman, or I think it was a lineman last week, was wild. What's up, little man? But yeah, I I'm gonna go ahead and say that the Giants cover the spread, even if it's by half a point. I'm gonna say the Giants cover the spread. I think their front seven. I think their front seven is it gets a little bit of pressure on Jalen Hurts. Makes it a little difficult for him to get the passing game going, so they keep it close. I'm gonna go with the Eagles winning the game 27-21. I think they cover. I think the
Like it.
Giants cover, but they lose 27-21 Eagles. Uh,
All those 7.5s are gonna cover. Watch. I'm betting on it. I don't even care.
well, let's look real quick. And then, like I said, we'll talk about it more Saturday, and then I'll get you guys out of here. Let's see. So we got that game on Thursday, 7.5. Eagles are favored. And then on Sunday, we have Broncos favored by 7.5 over the Jets. Uh, we have the Rams favored by 7.5 over the Ravens.
Yeah.
Got the Colts. Got the Colts who just won by 34 at home, favored by 7.5 over the Cardinals. Also, this is a home game for the Colts.
All right, maybe I'm wrong.
And then the biggest spread of the week is the Packers going against the Bengals in their brand new 41-year-old quarterback who's supposed to save the day. And that spread is only 14 and a half points currently.
Wow.
So
I'll still pick them to cover that. All right. I'm just gonna do it just because. Also,
okay.
I'll share the odds with you
You
in
never
chat.
know. You never
You
know.
never know.
Well, that's all I got, fellas. You guys got anything left?
I
Nah.
would just one thing to elaborate on. I believe the Cardinals are gonna, that spread isn't gonna be as deep. It's gonna be they're gonna lose by 1 to 3 points.
You know what would be
Very
great?
probable.
What would be amazing is if they continue to lose on last second field goals for like 6 more games or something. That would be great.
Wow.
Just to watch the anguish of all the football fans around here. That would be amazing.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, the only other thing I will say is I'm going to call this out because I don't care whether it's true or not, but I'm going to say it is the reason Jason said the Eagles are going to win by 10 because if he don't and this girl watches this video, she's going to kick his ass. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We don't condone violence on this show, uh, unless it's against a Cowboys fan and nobody knows about it.
It's just mental warfare against those guys.
Yep, exactly. So, all right, everybody, we that's it. We appreciate you watching. If you took the time to watch, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, family. Be on the lookout for our next podcast on Saturday. I know Justin and I will be there. Not sure if Jason will be able to make it, but I do want to ask before we get out of here, Jake, when you expect you on more possibly Wednesday recordings.
Absolutely. Count me in for next week.
All right. I
Yeah.
love to hear it. The more, the merrier. And with that, I will leave you with our final two thoughts. Don't forget, division is a math problem. It should never be a people problem. And be kind. It is free unless you are talking to Cowboys fans. Peace.